I don't want motherhood to change me too much. I kind of am a believer in bringing your baby and your child along with your life, and I want to keep doing the things that I normally do, and working and traveling and seeing friends and going out and having a glass of wine. I don't know that the baby's gonna come for that, but I want to keep those parts of my life, but you know, I feel like there's this maternal thing that was inside of me that kind of emerged when she arrived, and it's felt perfect and just right.
I'm Abby Phillip in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and this is CNN.
CNN anchor and senior political correspondent Abby Phillip is proud to report her biggest story of the year. On August 16th, Abby welcomed her first child, a beautiful baby girl, Naomi Angelina Richardson.
Being a mom has felt so comfortable for me and natural in a lot of ways that has kind of surprised me in some ways. Hey girl. I didn't feel prepared to be a mom when I got pregnant. I think the early stages of my pregnancy, I was just terrified of the whole thing. But now having Naomi here, it feels right. It feels like what I should be doing right now and like the most important responsibility that I have. Why are you so mad? Because you're tired. It was a fairly short delivery, 12 hours, and we actually had a home birth. So we gave birth right here in this house, which was really nice. It was great to just like be here and recover at home. And the night I went into labor, Naomi was 10 days late, so I was like, when is this baby coming? Oh my God. So 10 days into it, we just were hanging out, trying to have a lot of family time. My parents were here, and I went into labor, and I was like, well, I guess I gotta cook dinner. So we cooked dinner through the first contractions, and then as things really got going, then we were like, okay, like, let's do this. And then, 12 hours later, there was a baby in the house. So it was a pretty smooth delivery, and she was healthy, and the first 2 weeks were honestly blissful. They were so nice. I didn't even mind that I wasn't getting any sleep. I was just enjoying every second of spending time with my baby. Week 3, week 3 has been, that's when it really hits you. You're like, okay, this is every night. and sometimes the baby just doesn't cooperate with you. Like, you want her to do something and she wants to do something totally different. And I have had those moments, like in the middle of the night, and you're up and just trying to soothe this baby and you can't figure out what she wants. And those moments when the lack of sleep and the frustration really combine, you just have to take a deep breath and just say, okay, I'm gonna just take a moment and then regroup.
Beautiful.
Luckily, Abby's husband, Marcus Richardson, has been a huge help.
Well, he's a great dad. He is like the most happy person about being a girl dad, I can tell you that. And we just kind of trade off everything. I mean, there's probably not a baby thing that he doesn't do except maybe breastfeed her. But he's pretty hands-on, and honestly, when she wakes up in the morning, the first thing that she does is smile at him, which is really annoying because I'm like, I'm the one feeding you. But she always has smiles for daddy every single morning. It's just been really cool to watch her bond with him as much as she bonds with me. She spends a lot of time with me, but daddy's fun. They do, activities together, and she just likes kind of staring at him, and it's really amazing to watch that.
Abby and Marcus met in 2011 and were married in 2018. After 10 years together, the happy couple knows how to make it work, despite the demands of a 24/7 news cycle.
From the beginning, Marcus was dating a journalist who was attached to her phone and working 7 days a week and most, always checking email and Twitter and social media. And he always really took that in stride. And I think that in every relationship, you need that one person who is really flexible and understanding. And, I am not those things, but he is. So we really complement each other. I mean, we sometimes have very different personalities, but I think that is actually why it works so well. He's kind of everything that I'm not, and so the two of us make a good pair. And I mean, in terms of making it work, I think it's been a work in progress. It's been years in the making, and we've put a lot of time and effort into our relationship. And I think particularly if you are a woman who has a high-powered job or a busy career or whatever, and you want to find a partner and start a family, you have to make sure that that person is on board for the ride and is going to be there to support you when he needs to be, and you can be there to support him, but it has to really be that kind of partnership. The thing that really kind of cemented journalism for me was when I went on a college trip. It was a civil rights and community service tour, and we went down to Mississippi, and we were kind of learning about the civil rights era and learning about the journalists who really kind of helped those stories come to life. And I just felt like this is the work that I want to be doing.
We are joined from Washington by Politico's Abby Phillip. Abby, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me tonight.
All right,
Abby has been a political journalist for more than a decade, and while she clearly loves the work, there have been plenty of challenges along the way.
I think everything is challenging about journalism, but especially political journalism. I mean, I think a lot of times, especially early in my career, I often felt like there weren't a lot of people like me in this field, especially a Black woman, especially someone who was young. When I first started my very first job, I was a White House reporter. I was 21 years old when I walked into that building as a journalist for the first time, and it was terrifying. I've changed industries within journalism a few times. I've gone from print to TV, back to print, back to TV. I've done a lot of different things, and every time having done those things, I feel like I have to kind of reinvent myself. And so those challenges, they come with the territory, but you just have to kind of dig deep and say, okay, I'm gonna learn something new today and figure out how to make this next chapter of my life work. And that's what I've done. And I've tried not to shy away from those kinds of challenges, and I think it's really served me well.
Abby has been overcoming obstacles throughout her career, but she says her toughest test so far came late last year.
Shortly after the election, I was pregnant and covering all of the post-election madness while being in my first trimester and having morning sickness and all of this craziness. And someone at some point asked me, like, what was the hardest thing that you've done? And I was like, honestly, for me, it was working the intensity that I was working post-election while also carrying a child. It was the hardest thing I have ever done.
I think it's important to point out that a reality has prevailed here over fantasy and fiction.
Having done it, I think I can probably do anything between that and labor and delivery. I think I'm good. I think I can probably accomplish anything at this point.
One thing Abby hopes to accomplish in the not-too-distant future, raising young Naomi to be a strong, confident woman.
I think she is who she's going to be. I really do believe that kids are who they are, but I just want her to be someone who is a person of character and someone who has a sense of purpose in life and a sense of direction in life. And I know that she's gonna be loved and cared for and smart and all of these things, but I think that I wanna create a responsible citizen of this world someone who cares about other people, who wants to contribute to her community and her world, someone who has a sense of self and a sense of self-direction, so that no matter what she ends up doing, she's grounded and she's confident.
Meanwhile, Abby's fans will be happy to know she will be returning to CNN later this year.
I am taking a full maternity leave, and we have a pretty good, generous policy that's like a little more than 4 months. So it's a great amount of time. And, you know, the advice that all of my colleagues have given me was enjoy the time, just enjoy the moment. And I truly think that that's true. You only get your first baby once. So it's not always, I mean, you'll love all your children if we're lucky to have more than one, but you only get your first one once. And so I'm just gonna take that time and spend time with her and nurture her until she watches me go back to work and learns that mommy works and mommy's got a job, and you know, she'll learn that lesson too. So